guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for another episode of Glenbrook Chronicles, but today's a little bit of a special episode. We don't actually have G here with us, therefore there is no fish, therefore there is no curse of fish, so there's no actual adventure that can possibly happen in the outskirts of Glenbrook, because without that character, there is no feasible weird things to happen. So instead, we're actually gonna do a live AMA. You're gonna just ask, everyone here is gonna live ask G questions, and she's gonna smash her keyboard in anger at us. And that's what this show is about. And if you don't understand this live action meme, then you're not in the Discord. So if you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is by joining us on the Patreon. And while you're down there, click on that Discord link and join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. But we do have an episode for you. We do have an episode here. Hashtag the curse of fish is a real thing, as you saw in all of the other episodes of this show, which is available on our YouTube if you haven't seen them. But as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. Purpose one is every time that bar fills, I get to do what the hell I watch these players like dissolve their mom into pixels. And two, every single dollar goes back to this channel for all kinds of things like overlays, graphics, cool videos, music, and all kinds of fun things, and help keep the lights on in this house that I have. That being said, the year is 1985, a place called New England, more specifically Rhode Island, the home of Mercy Brown, America's first vampire, the site of many dark and lurid tales from the mind of HP Lovecraft, and the home of the infamously haunted Perron Family, and now the site of one of the largest governmental research facilities in the world, the Loop. Today is Saturday, October 19th, 1985. You all stand in the main lobby of the East Glenbrook Bowl-O-Rama. For tonight, they are hosting their annual overnight lock-in. Each of you has come for your own reasons, some representing businesses, some representing newspapers, some just trying to be a good pillar of the community. But you are all here inside the Bowl-O-Rama, which is outfitted with some classic lanes, complete with handset pins. There are a series of electric pin setters, a new arcade that has been recently installed, and all manner of neon lights to jazz the place up, as they say. Once all of the children arrive, the doors and exits are locked. This is a lock-in, after all. It's not a facetious term. You are trapped within the confines of this place as your parents go to do whatever the hell parents do when their kids aren't around. Something salacious, probably. But you are all here. Many residents of the town are here. Many of the children residents of the town are here. We see Jojo, we see Elliot, we see Rossy, three people who have all met each other and have gone on some strange events. And we see Shane. Shane is a track star at the local high school. He's a relatively well-known person in the town as far as decathlon running and track and field, cross country, trophy winning, state championship winning, etc. He is a pillar of the sports community, perhaps someone worthy of an interview, Rossy. However, that's neither here nor there. Your parents bid you adieu. Your employers bid you adieu in some cases. The doors are locked. Several of the rooms have their lights turned off, and a projector is wheeled out. Jojo, you recognize this projector, as well as the, let's call it makeshift, projection screen. This is not the ones from school with the top-down thing. This is a much larger, like a small-scale drive-in. You, in fact, had to help fabricate from Rex Fabrications. This thing is a series of metal poles with riveted snaps in them and a white sheet that snaps onto this thing to keep it taut. It's a relatively impressive piece of craftsmanship that you have made here, and you're here to make sure it does its job. It is wheeled out. The projector is wheeled out. The appropriate number of those little seats that don't actually have legs on them, they're just like a back piece that you can sit on and be able to lean back on, are placed along the floor so that everyone can sit and enjoy the latest film. You see the 17-year-old pimple-marked face of the employee that works here. His name is Chaz. It's really Charles, but he thinks that Charles is a nerdy name and Chaz is a much cooler name. Hasn't worked for him so far. Ellie still won't talk to him. But that's another story. He wheels out the projector. You see him try to finagle the VCR with the projector and how this goes for a good 10, 15 minutes as he tries to figure this out. And eventually he pops in a movie. This is Disney's Snow White is currently playing on this because it's a movie that all children of all ages would love to watch here in the 80s for some reason. The movie begins to play. There's the whistling of birds and songs that begin to go on, and immediately the four of you tune out because this is baby stuff. This is not the kind of movie you'd like to watch. What are the four of you doing as you have assembled here in the Bolorama?
Well, Shane is probably now that he knows that the first movie is going to be a kids movie. He is doing something that you would not at all expect from a track star. He is actually sitting on one of the seats at one of the lanes with his nose in a book. It is the latest Sue Grafton mystery novel, B is for Burglar, because this is back when that series was just getting started. And you can see that every once in a while he reaches down to a little pendant that he wears. And when he does that and he's holding it, you can see him kind of mouthing the words.
Elliot is edging his way towards the arcade games. I assume there's arcade games in the Bolorama. Trying not to make it obvious that he's going to plan to head over there and ignore this atrocious movie that he's been forced to endure way too many times, played at the store, because it's one of Ellie's favorite childhood memories. So he's trying to edge his way, hoping not to annoy Chaz too much, and getting towards the edge of the pile of kids.
You're muted.
I sure am. You make your way through the crowd of younger kids and some 10, 11-year-olds, and you make your way towards the arcade area where you know that there is a small room with several pinball machines, a couple of arcade shooters, a racing game, and a fantasy, almost gauntlet-style game called the Tower of Druaga. Jojo and Rossy, what are you two doing?
Rossy is probably over in the small section that's like where the concessions are with tables. He's probably picked a table in the corner away from everybody and all the noise, just kind of going over his notes.
Okay. And Jojo, what are you doing?
I imagine Jojo was standing as the projector screen was brought out, and as Chaz starts to walk away, Jojo walks up to him on his way out. Charlie, you break my shit, I hurt you. And he just walks off, and he starts heading towards Elliot. Elliot looks like he's going to go do the most enjoyable thing here.
It's true. That is a fairly enjoyable thing. You catch the eye of those around you. Rossy, you see Jojo. Shane, you see a few of the older kids sneaking off towards the arcade machines, which you would know, having done this dance a few times. The arcade machines for this night and this night only, the coin op portion has been disabled, and they are free to play, which is Jojo's favorite price, free 50 free. So Jojo, you join Elliot here in this this digital temple to entertainment. What are the two of you doing?
I think Jojo walks up. You're right, movie nerd. What game we playing?
Whatever's available, I guess. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
You strike me as a Miss Pac-Man kind of guy, so if you prefer, we can play that.
I mean, it's normally one of the cheaper ones, so if I'm going to play it, it's going to be the one.
It's free, so they're all cheaper ones.
He looks around at all the machines. Well, then we have choices. You didn't want to watch Sleeping Beauty or whatever that is?
No, it's more Disney trash. It's just propaganda.
I mean, I don't disagree.
What's it propagandering?
It's all against the monarchy.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
It's bad mouthing apples, Mike, and telling kids that they're bad for them.
That's true. Get an Android.
Yeah, he's going to join Elliot at whatever 2-player game they find, and
sure. Yeah, you have the telltale waka 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 of the Pac and Mrs. Pac variety across the screen, gobbling dots and fighting ghosts. Rossy, you can hear the electronics sort of going off in the arcade room. You see that most of the younger kids, those that are probably like late elementary school, very early middle school, are watching and enjoying to various levels the movie, which is Snow White, and sort of absorbed into this as it's a free, fun movie night. Popcorn has been provided. There are very like thinly sliced, like they took like a regular slice of pizza and cut it in half. Slices of pizza going passed around to people. And a lot of the older kids have sort of milling about, and they are headed down to one side of the lanes. That is the Cosmic Bowl side, where a lot of the stuff is covered in blacklight paint. And there are black lights over the top of those. So you hear the occasional crash of pins, some hoots and hollers from the kids over there. And you see Shane, who is all the way to the far left side of the pins, of the lanes, rather. And you know that he is at the lane that is completely manual. It is meant to be like a preservation of the original 1920s bowling alley that this used to be. So everything is like this old school wood. All the pins are like, hey, you have to go physically down there and hand reset them. And he's sort of sitting there reading, not participating with the electronics or with the other older kids. So what are the two of you sort of doing?
If for anyone who's listening, they can just hear Rossy muttering himself. Why did she send me here this time? I know the librarian's like, oh, you'll have fun. It'll be interesting. But it's like, what's here? And he's complaining is like how the only interesting thing that could possibly be here could be the decathlete sitting over the corner, but it's Marco who covers sports, not him.
True. So while you are muttering and trying to find something exciting to write about, Shane, what are you doing?
So Shane, he actually picked this lane specifically because he figured that none of the kids wanted to deal with manual pin resetting. But he has just gotten to the end of the chapter, and he is going to take a bathroom break.
Okay. So yeah, you cross back over where the movies are. You see Rossy sort of drumming with a pencil, trying to figure out what to write about next. And you see JoJo and Snow are in a aggressively competitive game of Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, as only two teenage boys could engage themselves in, as you walk across towards the bathroom. Time sort of passes like in a dilated fashion. Bathroom happens, games happen. Rossy, you take a few more notes, and you eventually all hear the wrapping up songs of Snow White in this like 80-minute long movie that has since come to its end. Chaz comes out and is directing the younger kids towards a side area that has been set up with like sleeping mats. as he's trying to corral them into another room to go to sleep, mostly so he can do things that aren't babysitting, because he doesn't get paid minimum wage enough to do that. Getting most of the kids over there, he pops another movie in, and to your own artistic representation, or your own artistic interpretation, this is either a great movie or a terrible movie. Either way, it's a several hours long movie, meaning he doesn't have to change it so often. The movie Dune begins to play as the sands of Dune scroll across the beginning of the screen and the font slowly appears into view. And you see House Atreides sort of come across the screen. Jojo and Elliot, Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man has lost its luster. What are you two doing now as Dune begins to creep across the widescreen projector?
Elliot will look at Jojo and says, I mean, it could be worse. It could be Karate Kid. Should we grab a snack and go watch?
I mean, there's nothing worse than the Karate Kid. They tried
Facts.
really hard with Pocahontas or whatever that last thing was, but
That was out yet.
I remember all the names of the movies, Mike.
I don't think Pocahontas came out then. I think it was in the 90s.
Didn't it? It was the 90s.
Yeah.
Insert other Disney rubbish movie.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. There you go. Yeah. I mean, is this not some sort of nerd movie?
There's some cool fight scenes in it and people taking drugs.
Well, that suits me just perfect. Sounds
And
illegal.
Elliot will walk towards whatever cold food is lying around, grab something and a drink, and go and sit down in front of the.
Yeah, there's an array of round pizza plates that are just across the counter, like the shoe counter, that are in various portions of eaten. You can grab some of those. There is a watery a pitcher of Coke ready for your Dixie cup, essentially your tiny ass cup. So yeah,
I think Elliot just grabs a bottle.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
they enter
Jojo's
the little food area, Rossy sees them and he starts to shout like, "Oh, hey guys!" He tries to flag them over.
Jojo grabs the whole pizza box and a pitcher of Coke. We're gonna watch some weird movie, dude.
I've got a
Apparently
good
there's
view
loads of
over
drugs in it.
here.
Can you?
Why go sit down on the floor? You can sit at a table.
Sounds like a plan. And he starts walking over with his pizza box and pitcher of Coke that he's just taken.
Okay. So Shane, you see the three of these around your age, older boys, have an entire box of pizza, probably the only remaining full box of pizza, and a pitcher of Coke, who are all enjoying the movie Dune. What is Shane's prerogative here in the lock-in?
So I Rossy, you're 15 as well, right? Oh, you're 14? Okay.
14.
Okay. So we probably, then I probably don't have any classes with any of you. But I've probably at least, seen Rossy around.
Yeah, Rossy works for the school paper, so you would at least know him.
You would have at least seen me. You wouldn't have interacted with me. If anything, for the school paper, you would interact with Marco, the made-up kid who now runs the sports section.
Yep.
Because why not? So when Snow White was ending, Shane kind of surreptitiously made his way back into the crowd, so it kind of looked like he'd been there the whole time. At least to those that had been actually, affixed to the screen. Dune, he's never been much of a science fiction guy, but he'll give it a shot. But this being the David Lynch version, it's after about half an hour, he realizes this might actually be even weirder than that time that he was over at Dennis' house. So he eventually he will once again sidle his way out, and kind of make his way over to the table and lean down and say, "Leaving enough for the rest of us."
Of what? The pizza?
Yeah, and so you look, and he's got kind of a smile and a smirk on his face. So you don't think he's here to rat you out. He's just kind of calling you on your shit.
I mean, dude, I'll take more pizza if it's free. Free is my price.
That's fair.
If you want
free or free or thievery, right, Jojo?
I mean, technically, Rossy, they're the same thing. It just depends on how you acquire it, right?
I'm assuming you were paid to be here.
I mean, why else would I come and watch whatever that was? And this movie
the book
about
is better.
weird stuff. What, of that Disney fairy tale?
No, and he points at what's playing at the screen now.
As you guys look over at the screen of Dune, it's the strangest thing. You know that time has passed, but it seems like nothing's actually happened in the movie. In fact, it seems like it's still the opening scene, despite being 30 minutes into the movie. It's very slow, and you think it might have been like a setting on the VCR that it might be playing at like 2 times reverse speed, like it's 2 times slower than usual. Just a very long movie.
No, that's just the actual Dune movie.
That's just a movie. I know.
It's playing normal speed. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
The new one is. That's why the new one's part 1.
Yeah. The movie continues to play. More of the kids sort of mill about as this movie drones on in the background. You guys kind of have free range of the place. So a few kids kind of pop off and go play some video games and play some pinball and move around. There's like a small arts and crafts table set up for like the younger kids. There's a few like beanbag toss games that's set up. And as the night sort of progresses, you see more and more of the younger kids headed towards the sleep area and sort of crawling onto these mats. With the plastic covered pillows, or whatever you've brought yourself for your own sleeping. Some of the older kids play some bowling. The doors get closed for the sleep area in case the older kids are louder. And throughout the night, you see more and more people just sort of drift that way. Before turning in towards the end of the night, are the 4 of you doing anything?
So, Elliot, what brought you here? Are you the one providing the movies?
Yeah, Component Video sponsors this event. Ellie used to come, but apparently she's too old now, so the torch has been passed to me.
Too old? More like doesn't feel like getting stuck in a building for an entire night.
Yeah, she wasn't completely honest about how interesting this whole night would be.
So this trash collection of movies is your fault?
I didn't select it. We could see if there's anything else that's been offered. I'm sure he's got a stash back in the back somewhere.
Well, Jojo's been
around.
paid to be here. Could be worse. I was like, since I'm in the newspaper club, and it's like, oh, yeah, you cover all the affairs of the stuff that go on outside the school. So you have to go, as the school librarian pointed at me.
So I poke up and look around. Can I see Chaz? And if so, is he still awake?
You're muted.
Son of a bitch. Awake is a strong word. He is by the register, the shoe wall behind him, and he has a head in his hand, and he is doing the head droop because he needs to stay awake to make sure nothing bad happens. So he is trying his damnedest to do that.
So I being the upstanding member of the community that I am, I will go over and I will, kind of clap him on the shoulder and say, just take a break. I'll watch these guys.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. And he like takes off the Bolorama vest that he has that Velcros. He takes it off and he hands it to you, so you look kind of official. And he's like, "Cool, good on you, man. That's rad. That's rad." And he like heads to the back room, which is like a little back office. And you can see a light on in there, and like a bunch of like paperwork and other shit like that, boxes. And he heads in there. The door closes, and you can hear the creak of an old office chair that he is reclining in as you sort of take up position at the counter.
Oh no, I don't stay at the counter.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say I would stay at the counter. I just said I'd keep an eye on these guys. Though
That's
I
fair.
have this image that like he takes off the vest and he's already got like his flannel button-down pajamas on.
Oh yeah,
under the
yeah,
vest.
of course, of course. You couldn't see the pants because he was behind the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely goes to the back of the room. You hear the creak of the reclining chair, the reclining office chair, and shortly thereafter, a snore. As he is passed out in the office. You are +1 ugly vest, -1 Chaz. What are you returning to the other three?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And I'll kind of look at Elliot and say, so what else you got in the stack? Any good mysteries?
No
I think you
clue.
can learn something from him, Jojo.
What? He just made it. Okay, I suppose he made a dude go away.
You got to be respectable before they respect you.
I don't even think he's coming back out. He's probably passed out in there.
Oh yeah.
If you hit them hard enough with a pole, they don't come back out either. Just saying.
Paperwork.
Elliot, you Jesus, that took a dark turn, Chris.
that happened really fast.
Jojo pulls out the gun from the previous episode.
Yeah,
He's still got the M9.
just has it in the back of his fucking pants. Elliot, you know that there is a milk crate behind the counter that contains all the movies your parents dropped off here. A quick list of those movies include The Karate Kid, Indiana Jones, Dune, Ghostbusters, 16 Candles, Revenge of the Nerds, but you open that case and it's missing. It turns out they had boobs in that one. You can't show that to kids. The Neverending Story. Red Dawn is also missing for some reason, but that might be something else. Gremlins, Muppets Take Manhattan, and The Last Starfighter. As all of that is contained inside this. All movies that are appropriate for children for the most part, and don't include a single boob. Which is rare in the 80s if you've gone back to that catalog.
Red Dawn involves bloodshed, so I think I know why that's missing.
It's also missing. It's also missing from its case.
But is Indiana Jones in there?
Indiana Jones is in there, and I think...
Which one?
It's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
There's a lot of blood in that one.
Yeah, well, it's cheeky and fun. And it's Nazi blood, so no one minds that.
Temple of Doom,
no one's
the
face
one
is
where
melting,
they pull the
so you
dude's
know.
heart out.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
The one's face is melting is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Like I said, there is no face melting in this one, so that's why it's this one instead of Raiders.
So, yeah, so you know that's what is contained in the milk crate there. For other movie options.
It's a tough call between Ghostbusters and Last Starfighter. But he looks up at the guys with him and realizes these Neanderthals wouldn't appreciate the Last Starfighter as much as they should. And he pulls out Ghostbusters and heads over to pop that into the VCR.
Dude, Gremlins is going to scare the kids more.
The little kids are asleep already.
Wake them
Ghostbusters
up.
has that really freaky scene at the beginning.
Do you really want to
with the
scare
ghost.
them, Jojo? Because I'm here for it. It's boring as heck in here anyway.
I don't have to deal with their parents, so it's all good.
Oh,
I don't know how that movie got in there.
Why don't you grab one of the speakers?
And Rossy's just got his
Put it
pen,
into
he's
the room where the
tapping
kids are
against his
sleeping.
cheek as he's bored.
Okay.
Tell me JoJo ideas.
Right. So you go over and you pop out Dune, and it's 45 minutes in, but it still seems like the opening scene. You toss in the VHS copy of Ghostbusters, and a strangely horny scene begins with Bill Murray trying to seduce a college student who does not have telepathy. And zapping a young college student who may have telepathy with shocks begins to play across the screen. Again, you hear the loud snores coming from the back office there. Chaz is not long for this world. He's out cold. He's done for the day. More and more of the kids head towards the sleep area and begin to sort of tuck themselves away to end this night faster. you all kind of sit around eating pizza, drinking Coke, grabbing the remnants of what is left around from anyone else who kind of has left theirs unattended. And you hear like a strange thumping down the end of the alley, like the bowling alley, like towards the pin setters. It's not like the sound of the machines, although it's been a year since most of you did this little trip here, so maybe it is. But you hear this like rhythmic thump 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 thump.
Stop that rhythm, or you're gonna attract the sandworms.
You gotta walk. You gotta do the sand walk like a snake. Yeah. So you look down the bowling alley, and all of the pins are retracted and up. So none of the pin setters should actually be moving, and all of the bowling balls are in the bowling ball carousels at the front of the alley lanes.
At this point, I'm looking around, trying to see if Fish or Danny or John are around, because they are what I know of when the weird stuff happens.
John wouldn't be caught dead here. Literally, he would rather die than actually be a corpse in this moment. Danny is perpetually grounded, and Fish wasn't allowed to go.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So at that point, he's just gonna look back, and he's just gonna watch that for a moment and kind of see if anything else strange happens.
Yeah, just you hear the continued rhythmic thump, 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 thump from back there. Elliot, Jojo, Rossy, you guys doing anything?
I think the machine's busted.
So, go for it.
I was just going to say, Jojo, you're a grease monkey. You should check that out.
Look, I'm not paid to fix it, but I can have a look. It'll shut it up.
If we break it, who cares? As long as it gets quiet.
It's Chucky's fault anyway, so we're all good. He's supposed to maintain this place. And yeah, Jojo's going to walk down the center of the lane.
Okay.
He doesn't care. He's going to walk down the lane to get to the end.
Okay.
Elliot is so going to bowl a bowling ball at Jojo as he goes down the lane.
Great.
That's what a 14-year-old kid would do.
It absolutely is.
Yes.
Elliot, roll me a force.
And it is not going to go anywhere near him.
Roll me a force. And Jojo, roll me a move.
A move.
Okay, you're both terrible. So Elliot, you grab the ball and you perform your most eloquent roll of this thing, like professional level roll, as it boom and then trundles down the alleyway or the laneway.
There are no bowling movies out at the moment, so Elliot,
you have nothing. You have no Kingpin hasn't come out yet. You roll this down the lane, and Jojo, you hear it. And in your head, you plan to do some cool jump dodge move. None of that happens. You anticipate the ball going behind you because it's cooler if you look like 360 no scope. And so you do this jump that in your head is cool, but the ball gutters out about 2 feet before you. So the ball's in the gutter and you just do this twirly jump thing. Both of you look losers. So that happens. There are so many people that are third-party embarrassed for you as you continue maybe a little bit faster down the center laneway towards the pin setters. Now,
as he goes, he's constantly looking back just in case Elliot throws another ball.
Just in case it was 2, it was actually 2 and not 1. And the second one to get you. That
was the warning shot.
It was a secret. It was a setup.
I've got a spare. Yeah.
Like 7 more back here. So you head down the center lane. Now, for Jojo, I will say this for you, because in case maybe you had to come back here and fix this for the Bolorama on behalf of Rex, there's a door on one side of the lanes that will lead you to the mechanics back there, or you can climb underneath the pin setter.
I mean, normally if Jojo was here for work, he would go through the door.
Yeah.
I would assume, he's probably been here on Potter Brex, but this is an opportunity to climb through the pin setters and see what it looks like from the inside. So
cool.
He drops onto his back and grabs the little door thing and slides himself in.
You slide in. In theory, it looks cool, like you're a mechanic under a car as you shoo under there. If Mission Impossible music existed, it would play here. And you pull yourself out, and you see a bunch of like swing arms, gears and levers, and the pin setter rack that sort of pinches the pins closed, and these like large drums that sort of rotate all these tools around. And none of them are moving, and you still hear thump, 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 coming from somewhere back here. Now, you know, having worked here before, if you pull all the way through, there's a good like 5 feet of space of where you can get to the actual mechanics. There's a small desk at the other side for like a tool chest, and a small like it's not an apothecary cabinet, but it's like one of those cabinets with the small drawers that have all the little tiny like pins and setters and all the other weird shit that's in there, like all the nuts and bolts, the tiny ones that go in there. So you can pull yourself through if you so choose, but you still hear that noise, and it is coming from back here.
Yeah, before he pulls himself out, he just looks down the lane to the others and goes, nothing's moving. I'm going to go and see if I can figure it out. And he just keeps pulling himself through and back into that back area.
Perfect. You guys hear that coming from like muffled from underneath the pins, and you pull yourself into the back area. The area behind there is corrugated metal, so you kind of pull yourself out, and there's like that clang clang as you get yourself up, and you still hear that thump 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 thump, and nothing is moving around here. What are you looking for back here?
Jojo's going to look for whatever's controlling. He assumes, or I assume, should I say, that all of them are set up, run by some central machine.
Correct.
That's powering them all, or doing the mechanical movements for all of them. He's looking for that to see if he can figure out if that's broken.
Yeah, so you head towards the work desk, and there is a large like drum that has a bunch of these like pivot boom arms that sort of like articulate back and forth. Each one sort of goes in its own groove to each pin setter, and you see one rotate as it drops down, sort of like a strange marionette situation. The device is not moving, like none of the gears are turning, but the on-off switch is on. There were kids bowling, and Chaz is asleep now. He didn't turn it off. It is on. The green on button is glowing. The red off button is not glowing, but nothing is moving back here.
He's going to put his hand against the machine,
and
I'm assuming he doesn't feel the beat.
Nope, and it's cold. It's like it hasn't been like revved up in a while.
Is there a door apart from the one that leads into the Bolorama area?
Roll me investigation.
Oh, Mike, you always pick dumb stats.
I know, buddy.
To be fair, I always make characters that, at investigating, but there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Got one.
Success. Great. You look around for some other entryways. You find that there are two that you were previously unaware of. In the center of the corrugated metal walkway, it appears as though there is two welded brackets for the walkway to open up. Leading down somewhere, which you've never been to. You also see that there is like an almost an attic door, not like a door so much as like one of the ones that like pulls down and like a ladder extends, but it's like a piece of wood that you can lift up out of the way. It's like that recessed square, and there is a ladder that is affixed to the wall, painted the exact same color as the back wall, so as to kind of obscure the ladder. Like if you don't know it's there, you don't need to know. And
is that open or is that closed?
The wooden hole is closed, as is the corrugated metal floor.
Right. He would walk back to the door that opens up into the Bolorama. He opens it up and just shouts to the others, "It's nothing in the back here, but it might be somewhere else. I'm going to go and dig around. Join if you want." And he just leaves that door.
Is there a way out up there? This is boring. I'd rather go home.
He just shrugs. Maybe.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Through the sewers,
At least it
he
might be
mumbles to
interesting.
himself.
I'll look back at the increasingly dwindling number of kids that are actually still watching Ghostbusters. I figure there's probably about one or two of them that are still actively awake,
Mhm.
and they're in the back trying not to let anyone see them make out. So, yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
now the library ghost scene where and she shrieks across the.
I always
That's
put
perfect
June
for
back
getting her
in,
to jump
started
in your
from the
lap.
beginning.
Yeah, classic
There
scene.
you go.
Classic scene. Elliot, what are you up to?
Elliot starts to follow Rossy, who's heading there, and just says to him, this is the part where we realize we're in Nightmare on Elm Street and Jojo's fallen asleep and he gets caught up in all the gears behind there.
100%.
At least it'd be more interesting what this boring snooze fest is.
And at that, Elliot gets an idea and he runs behind the counter and finds the controls for the cosmic bowling and just activates the smoke.
Great. Jojo, you hear this like sort of like rev up, followed by like as this liquid sort of starts to like emulsify in some sort of jug, and then as a bunch of fog erupts from the last two lanes, so the lanes closest to basically where you are, where the drum is, and just start to flow, and a fan goes, and a fan revs up, blowing smoke out down the cosmic lanes, and you see down the lane from where you are, and everyone else, you can see it coming the opposite direction. As the smoke billows out, you see that there are lasers, like garage door lasers, like across in green. So you can see like one's all green, one's all red, so that when the bowl goes by, it breaks the lasers and it looks like space stuff. So you all of this system sort of lights up and starts making new noises. But even through all those whirs and bubbles and spins, you can still hear that thump, 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 thump. Elliot, Rossy, Shane, you guys make your way towards the side door that Jojo had left open. You make your way through, and you see the same thing, that same corrugated metal walkway, the mist and a few of the machines revving up and moving to send smoke through the lanes, and you see Jojo just sort of standing there looking around.
As Rossy starts to hear the noise a little bit more, he gets a bit curious. Can I roll a comprehend to see if this is Morse code?
Yeah, you can roll me comprehend.
As they enter, Mike, Jojo's
There you
going
go.
through all those drawers that you mentioned, those little drawers.
Okay.
He's looking for a tool.
Taking like two things out of each drawer.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, my brain didn't work. I was like, a torch? That's aggressive for a bowling alley. You find a flashlight. You find a flashlight.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. My translator wasn't working at first. Yeah, you find a flashlight. You find nuts and bolts. You also find a small ring of keys, of like 3 keys.
He'll keep those.
Yeah, of course you will. Rossy, you listen to this, trying to interpret. What the fuck? Interpret if this is or is not SOS. Jesus. You don't think it's SOS unless it's the same letter repeating over and over again. It could be like G. It could also be like 7. Like it doesn't. It's the same. It's the same noise over and over again, right? So yeah, you're fairly certain it's not Morse code. Yeah. Unfortunately, sorry, buddy. So you guys all make it back there. Jojo, you have a shiny new set of keys. You sort of put on your belt. You have a flashlight, and the 4 of you are together again. Jojo, where
have already gotten interesting?
Yeah, Jojo, where are you leading this ragtag crew of ne'er-do-wells?
Jojo's first port of call is up. He's going to pop that panel out and shine the flashlight. through the attic and see if there's anything up there.
Yeah.
Or if it's just like an empty space.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you pop the tile out of the way. You climb up the ladder. You pop the tile out of the way, and you are you poking just your head and arm through? What are you poking through here?
He's gonna pop his head up and just the top.
Sure.
The,
this is a almost barren attic here, which makes sense. A lot of the boxes and stuff that are down there are probably too heavy or cumbersome to lift up through this tiny hole. So this is mostly unused space. But you move around. There's a couple of like wooden pillars, which would be normal there. You see that there's some insulation in some of the ceiling, and you see like almost like a house attic, like that circular window, right? Like that telltale house attic window. Except you just see the window on this side, and through the glass, it is boarded up, as in they like made a facade over the front of the building because a weird attic there doesn't make any sense. A weird attic window doesn't make any sense. Other than that, this place is pretty barren. You see there's like a couple of like suitcases and like an old like steamer trunk from whatever this place used to be. There is like a pile of like old shoes up there just sort of scattered about. But other than that, there's nothing really going on up here as far as you can see from where you are.
Is the noise any louder? Or does it still sound the same?
I don't want to have you roll for that. The noise does seem louder up here.
He looks down to the others then and says, it's louder up here, and he's going to climb up.
You climb up. Does anyone follow?
Yeah, Elliot will follow him and kind of say to Jojo, have you heard the knives scraping on metal yet?
Knives? No, did you have one?
You're
He
asleep.
thinks it's Nightmare on Elm Street now.
You're dreaming. We're gonna get attacked.
I'll give
Or
Elliot
you're
a
gonna
boost
get
up.
attacked.
He pinches his own arm. He says, no, I'm not dreaming. You're here.
Well, it could be a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't think
I
his
mean, it is
dreams
a
would
nightmare.
involve us.
That is true. It could be a nightmare.
Maybe fish.
Well, canon, Jojo sees Fish as a sister. It's like his little sister that he can bring up to be a troublemaker like him.
That's how they all start out.
Yeah. So after the three of them, I assume have gone up, Shane will pull himself up, going, "Oh, I mean, I'm here to keep him out of trouble, and if anyone's going to get in trouble, this is how it's going to happen." So
it's true. You did volunteer to keep everyone out of trouble. So yeah,
almost like that was plot.
The four of you climb your way up into this attic. Again, you guys see the same thing that Jojo saw. Jojo, you kind of shine the flashlight around. Nothing really catches your eye, but you do hear all the sounds below are sort of muted now that you're up here, and perhaps it is the muted noises that made the drum beats sort of come into sharper contrast. But now that you're all up here, there's no denying there is a dum 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 sort of noise. Chris, what are you plotting?
I think I've just caught on to you. But I'll wait and see. Jojo's going to, like, all those suitcases, he's going to try and open them.
Okay.
If they just sort of opening ones, and if they seem locked, he's going to try his keys. And he's going to keep digging around up here to see if he can get closer to that noise.
Sure. Yeah, you begin to open some of these like the steamer trunk opens, there's a couple of drawers in there, all of it's empty because I know you rifle through things. You open up the suitcases, there's a couple of like dingy, moldy like clothes that could have been like maybe a towel, a dress, you're not entirely sure. But all of them open, no key required. And you roll me a, let me see what's not your dump stat, Jojo.
Sneak
you can't
force.
You can't punch it.
Sneak around it.
Roll me. Interesting. Roll me lead.
Lead. Ooh, okay. No successes, Mike.
Okay, great. You are opening these trunks, and you hear whispers. They don't seem to come from the trunks. They maybe come from behind you. Maybe your friends are whispering behind your back. You're not entirely sure. But you hear these whispers. It's hard to make out exactly what they're saying. Imagine like the sound of parcel tongue, right? It's that like that far away whisper. Like you know it's happening, but you can't tell what they're talking about. It just sort of hits you, and you kind of try to like triangulate where it's coming from, like turn your head and maybe like hear it better over here. No one else is reacting to this sound.
I think when Jojo first hears it, he's digging into one of the suitcases or one of the trunks and pulls out like a teddy bear, and he just throws it backwards at the others, assuming that that's where it's coming from, and then just eventually just stops and looks at them to see if they are the ones whispering.
The three of you just got a teddy bear thrown at you. It's moldy and gross.
Shane will kind of jump in and catch it just by instinct. The
Okay.
hell?
At least one of you can catch.
Catch diseases. You don't know how long that thing's been there.
Ugh.
Don't
Yeah,
put it in
he-
your mouth then.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would
as
throw
he's
that
holding onto
somewhere
it.
else.
Yeah. As he's holding on to it for like a few seconds and is getting the feel of drops it and looks for something to wipe his hand off on, and realizing that the towels aren't going to be any better, just kind of wipes it off on his pant leg.
Why are you lot whispering? What have you seen?
We're not saying anything. We're just watching you go through old stinky stuff.
Well,
I was actually about to go and see if I could hear it more anywhere else in the room.
If I'm making any noise, it's the sound of pen on notepad.
that doesn't sound like whispering.
That-
Can I still hear it,
But I
Mike?
could.
You can still hear it.
That's because you're asleep and you're subconsciously hearing people talking
Well,
in real
why
life.
don't you stand here then and see if you can hear the whispering? Maybe, hold on. And he moves things around on the floor and he puts his ear to the floor. Maybe it's people underneath us.
You put your ear to the floor, and there's that cupped ear sort of thing where you can kind of like hear that like muted noise behind you. And out of your non-floor ear, you hear the whispers. Out of your cupped ear, you can still hear the thum, 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 thum. It doesn't sound any louder. It doesn't sound like it's coming from beneath you.
One of you come over here and see if you can hear the whispering.
All
It's-
right.
It's in this room.
Rossy
I'm not
steps
falling for that.
forward.
Rossi,
Throw
you
a
head
teddy bear
over. You head over to JoJo's laundromat, and you too hear this whispering as you sort of stand next to him. Well, he's laying on the floor now, but you stand above him, and you too can hear this whispering. It sounds like it's off in the distance, just far enough that you can't understand what they're saying.
So can I try to focus on it and maybe get at least a small bit of comprehension?
Sure, roll me comprehend.
Yay for my strongest stat.
You hear it, right? You definitely hear it. It's not just me.
Yeah, I hear it. I don't know what it's saying. I think it says.
So you succeed on your comprehend, and you sort of like focus in on these noises, right? Again, it sounds like it's distant and hard to understand, but you hear 4 words. I had to count the words in my head. You hear 4 words that seem to be repeated, not quite at the same pace as this drum beat that you've been hearing. But you hear the words, 5 words. Hold on. I'm terrible at counting, it turns out. 6 words. Jesus, what's happening today? Guys, I haven't roleplayed in a minute. You hear a bunch of noises, and I'm the Gnasher in the dark. And then a bunch of noises, and then I'm the Gnasher in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm the Gnasher in the dark. What?
Cool.
I
Oh, is that what they're
don't
saying?
know. That's I think that's part of it. The rest is incoherent.
So Jojo turns and looks at Elliot. What movie is this from? Oh, that's a movie.
Maybe your mind is so weird you've replaced Freddy Krueger with a Nasher, whatever that is.
Well,
Can you tell which direction it was coming from?
No.
Yeah, there seems to be
Okay.
no directional source.
Maybe you just need to wake up and he'll walk over and just slap Jojo. Wake up.
You crack Jojo across like the back of the head, like a dad catching a son out the door. Jojo, your head rings for a second, but the thump 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 continues and the whispers continue. And Elliot, now that you're here, you also hear those whispers.
Shane, having not gotten the invitation to this particular party yet, is just kind of poking around the rest of this room, just to kind of see if I can figure out any place or any direction where the thumping is louder.
Yeah, you wander further around, seeing if I move over here, does the thumping get louder? If I move towards the window, right? You move towards the window and you hear whispers.
Hey, Jojo, those whispers you were hearing, they're over here too. And I will sit and listen and see if I can understand anything.
Roll me comprehend.
Jojo starts to walk over, and just before he gets out of arm reach, he punches Elliot in the arm as hard as he can. Try to give him a dead arm.
Perfect.
And he just walks up towards Shane.
Yeah. So you slug Elliot in the arm, and you begin to walk towards Shane. You as you walk a few paces away from the from the suitcases, and the whispering stops. And the closer you walk to Shane, the whispering begins again. Shane, you hear in the same sort of I don't know, pseudo-rhythmic tone that Rossy heard. I am the sound before a scream, and she lies.
Okay. So Shane is he's a fan of mystery novels and such things, and is a fan of puzzles, and likes to try to figure out the mystery before the main character does. Can I make some kind of roll to see if I can figure out what that might mean? You're muted.
No. You have no context for what that could mean. Yeah. So you have no educational based context for what this is saying. You've never heard that phrase before. You've never read that phrase in a book, as far as you can tell, or seen that phrase in a movie. So this seems completely foreign to you. Yeah. Jojo, you walk over towards Shane and you hear it as well. You don't hear the words, but you hear the whispering.
Rossy?
There's a blank spot in the middle.
Yes.
You said you heard some words. What were they?
I believe they were, I am the Nasher in the dark.
Over here we have, I am the sound before the scream, and she lies.
You guys making this up?
Honestly, sounds like the lyrics to a song. You think we're just looking for a left-on pair of headphones?
This would be really loud.
Not really. Could be on low volume.
So now I'm going to circulate the room, no longer listening for the thumping so much, but kind of seeing if there are any other spots where there are where I can hear any whispers.
Okay. So you Shane, you begin to circle this area. Jojo, Rossy, and Elliot, what are you guys doing?
Elliot rubs his arm and says, "Good news. I'm not the one that's sleeping."
Neither am I. And he
And
rubs his red cheek with a handprint on it.
It must be one of those two, and they're the ones hearing whispers. So Elliot will try to hear whispers as well.
Okay, you begin to wander around. Rossy and Jojo, what about you?
Rossy is gonna try to figure out a possible direction and walk towards the noise.
Walk towards the noise of what?
The whispers.
So once you leave like the radius of the suitcases, the whispers stop. You didn't hear them at the ladder when you moved up here. And Jojo, when he walked from the suitcases to the window, he said there's a blank space in the middle. So you walk towards where Jojo went, and you hear that blank space as well, where the whispers just stop. And you see that Elliot and Shane begin to... Go ahead.
Is there an unopened suitcase anywhere?
There is not. Jojo made sure to open all of them.
Could have been good things in them.
Could have been.
You come here, let me go there and see if we hear the same thing.
Sure.
All right.
So Rossy and Shane switch places, and I'm not going to have you re-roll comprehend. Shane, you hear "I am the Gnasher in the dark," and Rossy, you hear "I am the sound before a scream."
Wasn't it "and she lies"?
You heard that.
Okay. Got it.
You rolled a 2.
Fair enough. Okay. Sorry.
So yeah, you hear "I'm the Gnasher in the dark," and you hear "I'm the sound before a scream." Elliot, you walk around like you try to circle this room. You walk towards one of the dark corners in the back, like opposite the ladder, and you start to hear whispers as you get closer to that corner.
Can Elliot try to make out what the whispers are?
Yeah, roll me a comprehend.
One success.
You hear "I am the dark beneath the ground."
Elliot will say, apparently it's the dark beneath the ground now, not the Gnasher.
I am the Gnasher in the dark. I am the sound before a scream, and I am the darkness beneath the ground.
Jojo, what are you doing while everyone seems to be standing on whisper spots?
Jojo's looking for a light, Mike. Is there a light?
You have a flashlight in your hand.
No, like an actual. Is there?
Oh,
light
yeah, yeah. In the center of the room, you see a single strand bulb with a pull cord.
He walks up and pulls the cord.
Wait, you pull the cord and it sort of like bing, strings out from underneath your fingers, and the bulb sort of bounces around and back and forth, casting weird shadows around here. As soon as that light goes on, Elliot, Rossy, and Shane, you no longer hear the whispers.
Lights.
Yep, that's what happens when you turn the light bulb on.
Well, or we could walk around in the dark. Do you want another teddy bear? I'm sure I can find another one.
No, but humor me. Turn the light off again.
That's not humor, but sure. He turns the light off.
All of the whispers start up for each of you.
You guys hearing that again?
No, no one's laughing. See? Not humor.
Yeah, the darkness is back under the ground. It stopped when the light was on.
Rossy, you still hearing sound before the scream?
I think so.
Does Jojo still have the flashlight on?
Yes.
Turn the flashlight off, dude. Maybe you'll hear it then.
Sure. And he shines it at Elliot and then turns it off.
When it shines to you, Elliot, the voices stop. And then as soon as you turn it off, Jojo, standing in the center of the room, you hear whispers.
Oh, whispers again. So if anyone wants to stand here and listen, good for you.
You can
I'm
roll
just gonna
comprehend
stand
if you'd like, Jojo.
That's dump stats, Mike. But I can try.
I don't make these up.
Somehow I succeed again.
See that? You hear the whisper say, "I am the space between dreaming."
He stops and listens for a second. He goes, "Okay, I can hear words too."
What does it say?
It says, "Elliot is a clown."
Good to know.
It's also saying about the space between dreaming.
Does sound like a weird ass 70s song.
And there's the drums.
What? Okay, Jojo, serious for a second. What exactly is it saying?
I am the space between dreaming. This kid's really serious.
So
The four of you stand on the respective whisper areas. I gotta think of a name for those. You stand on these whispering spots, and you each heard something different. And now that you're all standing on all of them, you hear in tandem, but in your each unique whisper's voice. We four are here. You have called for us from beyond the grave.
Jojo just says out loud, "No, we didn't."
yeah, it wasn't me. I'm not allowed to make long distance calls.
Wait, what did you all hear?
That we made a phone call to beyond the grave to something. It's long.
Could you ask them who they are?
Weren't you told not to talk to strangers?
I work for the newspaper. I talk to strangers all the time.
Well, interview them
That's
then.
how you get kidnapped.
Seems like a good article.
Yes, like the guy who helped spread the Rossy's in the mob rumor is getting kidnapped.
Jojo only told one person that. He says that
Rumor.
in third person. Jojo only told that one person. Just like you can write that in your book.
Danny told many, many people.
Everyone.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yes.
Why do I cover for Danny so much?
Because he's always in trouble. I don't know why he keeps getting in trouble. Like, just don't tell your parents that you did something. It's very easy.
I guess you have to teach him how to lie then.
I mean, he did kind of burn down the video store. I don't think he could have avoided telling him that.
I mean, he could have just said that he was somewhere else.
We were found unconscious on the floor of the video store.
Blame Fish.
Okay.
Actually, no, don't blame Fish. Blame me. I'll take the blame.
It doesn't worry me. He's the one that gets in trouble.
Because he keeps telling his parents, "I did it." I can't do a Swedish accent.
As the four of you bicker amongst yourselves, you hear
Shane at this point is.
You hear again in your own individual voices of your whispers. The chorus has assembled. The chorus has assembled.
Well, Jojo just looks at the others. Should I just turn the lights on and then they go away?
Well, maybe we should.
I don't think if you turn the lights on, I don't think they'll go away. They just will be quiet.
Should we each recite what our whispers are saying as a chorus?
When did Blair Witch come out?
It says, isn't that usually how, like,
Sorry, I chose
things?
not to go to choir class.
No, I didn't say sing it. I just said recite it.
Surely there's a movie that you've seen that doesn't end well.
I mean, as long as you're the final person, it's fine. You just got to be one of the people that doesn't get killed. So
Kalima.
Jojo just starts stretching. All right. I'm sure I can
Don't get
outrun you
killed.
two.
Great advice.
You I can't outrun, but those two.
so what was the first one we heard? Rossy,
I
did you
am
hear
the
first one?
Nasher in the dark.
Oh, god damn it. Hit a button. Technical difficulties. We're back. The first one you heard was I am the Nasher in the dark.
And then Shane, you heard yours.
I am the sound before the scream, and she lies.
And then I heard I am the darkness under the ground.
And then
And-
Jojo goes, I am the space between dreaming. He just waves his hands like an idiot.
Okay, that didn't work.
See,
I'm all allowed values.
surely you book kids. And he looks at Shane as well. I saw you reading too. Must know something.
I tend more towards mystery, not science fiction or horror.
This sounds like a mystery.
Not one that I've heard, but trust me, I'm trying to put the pieces together. The Nasher in the dark, I am the sound before the scream. I am the darkness under the ground. I am the space between dreaming.
Rossy, were you writing these down?
He is in his little notebook a little bit.
You heard Elliot and Shane recite it twice, and you look down at your notebook and realize they have recited it incorrectly. It is not the darkness under the ground. It is dark beneath the ground.
Guys, I wrote this all down and you said it wrong.
I didn't have enough time to learn the script.
This isn't a movie, Elliot. This is a dark demonic ritual in which we're trying to summon a plague lord.
I mean, that makes
that's
much
so
more
much better.
sense than being a movie. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going to be worse than that. Sounds good. Let's do it.
Yes, let's open the chaos gate.
Jojo just points at Rossy.
Rossy recites his phrase.
Are you all reciting one? Is that what you're doing? I just want to know. Cool. All right.
Sure, let's do that.
Cool.
There's no possible way that could end out poorly.
No, guys, it's like I wrote this. So Rossy, you recite this. Then Shane, you recite yours. Elliot, you recite yours. And Jojo, you recite yours. And you hear that thump, 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 thump get louder and louder and louder, and suddenly stop, like very much like Jumanji box is getting close to you, and then suddenly stops, and all four of you hear at the same time in all four voices, the pact has been sealed.
We did it.
What
High fives
pact?
all around.
We
What?
fixed it.
Are we going to get warlock powers? Like first edition?
You hear the pact has been sealed, and at once all of the whispering stops appear.
That's
My
not
friends have
ominous.
done.
As well as the thumping drum beats.
The drum beats
Rossy
have
points
stopped
his
as well.
hand in a different direction and just yells Eldritch Blast. Does anything
Uh,
happen?
Nothing happens.
Boo, it's a boring pact.
We
You guys
fixed
are
it,
in
whatever
this-
it was.
You guys are in the silence of an attic. It smells gross and dusty and dank up here.
Jojo reaches up and turns the light back on.
You turn the light back on, and as soon as you pull the string and sort of like release it, that bouncy thing, the light sort of swings, casting strange shadows, and then the light bulb bursts and sort of glass rains down upon you, Jojo.
Oh, Jesus. Glad I don't have to fix this. He flicks his flashlight back on.
The flashlight clicks back on and then like sputters a few times and turns off. The bulb is dead.
Is it a
good
pact of
job.
darkness?
Good job, Elliot.
I'm gonna go back downstairs. If all
Okay.
the lights start blowing up, I guess we'll know.
Yeah, you begin to head back downstairs.
Into the
and
fog and the lasers.
yeah, into the fog and lasers. You head back downstairs, and the noise of the fog machines and fans sort of catches you off guard because it was very silent upstairs. You make your way down there. Your feet clank across the corrugated metal. Are you headed back out to the front?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You wander out towards the front, and you see all of the sleeping people, including Chaz, are awake. Well, let me rephrase that. All of the sleeping people are standing in the main lobby of the bowling alley. Their eyes are closed, they are dressed in their pajamas, and they are just sort of like punch drunk, sort of waving back and forth with their eyes closed.
Okay, so Shane, I would have followed Rossy back out
Sure.
of the back room.
Yeah, a few seconds later, you emerge from the back door, and you see the same thing. They are all standing, facing the lanes, eyes closed, and sort of just swaying.
Right.
Yep. Demonic ritual.
I go up to Chaz and I take him and shake him still relatively gently by the shoulders because this is only attempt number 1.
Yeah, you sort of grab him by the shoulder and give him like a little gentle shake, and his head sort of just like lolls around, and like when it rolls back a little bit, you see his eyelids flutter open, and his eyes are rolled back in his head. And then he sort of
so
like,
in that-
as you shake him, his head like sort of like rolls forward, and his lids close again.
Okay, so I'm going to excuse me. Basically grab him by the hair, tilt his head back up,
Rolled back in
and
his head.
pull open.
You see
Chaz.
the bottom part of his iris is like at the very top of his eye.
I don't think that's
Chaz.
natural, Shane.
He is not responding to you. Your shakes,
I-
your shouts.
I lean over and whisper into his ear, Chaz, there's a girl here to talk to you.
Unfortunately for Chaz, no response.
Damn. Wasn't true anyway.
Well, he doesn't know.
Yeah, I know that.
Jojo and Elliot, you are alone, a sore face, sore arm in the attic. What are the two of you doing?
Elliot just
Trying
looks
to
at
punch each
Jojo.
other out.
What are you doing with the lights? You're destroying all the lights, dude.
You told the whispering people to break all the lights. That's why you said the darkness bit, right?
No, that's
I was just about space, and there's space lasers downstairs. And you did the
you were
darkness.
the
and you
space
made all the lights.
between the dreaming.
Yeah,
and you're
that's-
dreaming, so it's your dream. So
How can I
wake
be
up and he
dreaming?
slaps Jojo again.
Jojo punches them again in the other arm. Once they stop hitting each other,
Yeah.
Jojo's like, shit. He turns around and says, all right, I'm going to try and get this window open. And he goes to where the round window is,
Mhm.
and he's going to try and rip off I'm assuming it's like a ply piece of wood over the window. He's going to try and rip that off.
It's 3 boards, and they're on the outside, so you can open the window and push them out.
Yeah, he's going to try and push them out.
Okay, cool. Roll me a force.
Force I can do, Mike. Hopefully. 1 success.
Great. You place your hands along the edges of the circle, and you force the middle board out. You can see out of this. If you want to pop the other ones out, it's going to take a couple minutes, but you can pop those out as well. But at a minimum, you can see out of the center. What are you looking for?
He's looking to see if the outside looks weird.
It does.
That's not good, Mike.
It sure isn't. You look outside, and you see immediately the street across from you. There are a couple of houses. All of the front doors of the houses are open, and all of the sleeping residents are in their lawn, facing the bowling alley.
movie kid. I think they're all dreaming and we're stuck in their dream. And he points out the window and sort of steps aside so Elliot can look out the window.
Elliot will look out the window and then just say, dude, I don't know what you did, but that's kind of Children of the Corn shit.
Yeah, I did the dreaming bit, so I made them all dream. That's pretty awesome. But
So
if
what
you can undo the lights, like I don't want to live in the dark.
Mike, are there street lights on outside?
There are.
See,
That's how you can see all the
lights.
people.
Lights. I
Just
didn't
broke
do the
mine.
lights. You broke them. You turned the light on and turned the flashlight on.
Shoddy engineering. Should we go and see if the lights are on downstairs?
Yep.
Jojo's gonna start making his way down the ladder then.
Right. Jojo, you look away as you turn away from the window here. You see all of the people that you can see out of the window, and Elliot too, if you're still there. You can see all of them turn at the same time and begin walking in the same direction. As you, I assume, scurry now away from the window and head back downstairs. Oh, go ahead.
So as Jojo starts to walk, they all start walking at the same.
No, like you go to turn away from the window and you just happen to see all of them move and start walking the same direction. They are all walking the same direction as each other, not the same direction as you.
And which direction are they heading? To the bowling alley?
They are not headed to the bowling alley. They are heading away from the bowling alley.
Dude, they're not looking at us anymore. Maybe we should follow them. Check downstairs, follow them. Can we get out? We'll figure that out. And Jojo's going to scurry down those.
Yeah, you move towards the hole in the attic and you slide down movie style down the metal ladder and you join Shane and Rossy, who are probably as dumbfounded as you, as all of the sleeping teens and tweens have now turned and are facing the door and are walking towards the door, to the point where the closest ones to the door are walking into the door because the door is locked.
Dude, it's happening here too.
I don't know what's going on to them, but all I know is this is another story I can't write about.
What do you mean two?
Outside, everyone similar, and they're walking in a direction. So we need to get out.
Are there any windows that I can look out to?
Yes,
see?
the front doors are glass.
Okay, and I look out and see.
Yeah, you see
out there.
you see the town sleeping, walking.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, we were a little preoccupied with this.
What?
Someone just unlock the doors.
Doesn't Carlos have the keys?
Rossy walks over to the now zombified Charles. That's how he's going to refer to these people now. They're in a zombie state. And he's going to see it, like, just kind of pat his pockets for the keys.
Yeah, you reach down, his left pocket has a set of keys in it.
All right, maybe we should just walk out, and we'll lock these guys in here.
Don't we want to follow them?
Yeah.
Are there other people in the town walking towards them?
Yeah.
Fine, we'll let Chaz out, and we'll lock everybody else in here.
Use them as like a dog.
Basically,
they're pretty much like packed against the door, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
you're decathlete. You can shove them out of the way.
They're slowly packing against the door.
Is there a back door?
There is.
Why don't we just go out the back door and around the building?
Yeah.
That works too.
So you said the people who aren't against the door are continuing to walk up
to the door. Yeah.
So
yeah. They're not like aggressively like shaking the door. They just like walked into it, and like it's like walking into a wall. Like you just stop moving.
But eventually
grabs Charles by the collar. Jojo, help me with this, and he starts dragging Charles towards the back door.
Okay.
So what is happening when the zombies start walking into each other rather than the wall?
The same thing.
What's happening there?
They're sort of pushing on the door, but you're fairly certain that the strength of a dozen and a half children isn't enough to bust that door down.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're going to start doing to each other.
Nothing. They bump into each other.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no aggression from these things. They just sort of
Sure.
walk like a zombie, and continue walking into each other. Rossy, you have grabbed Chaz by the back of the scruff of his collar, and you're headed back towards the back office where the back door is. Elliot and Jojo, what are you doing?
Jojo's helping Rossy move. Chaz.
Okay. Elliot and Shane.
Elliot's just following them.
Great.
Yeah. Shane will he will follow behind. He's still kind of, glancing back and seeing.
Hurry
If
up,
he can-
Shane. As soon as we open the door, they might rush this one. We don't want to let them out.
So the four of you and Chaz get to the back room. A little bit of a tight fit here for four people, but you are able to walk through all the boxes. And on the opposite side, there is a back door leading to behind the bowling alley. It's a one-way lock, so you just open the door and you guys can leave. And as soon as it closes, it will lock again behind you. And if you drag Chaz out with you, he begins to try to walk around the building.
How slowly does he walk, Mike?
Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and walking to the kitchen. That slow.
I think Jojo will walk with him for probably 10 steps.
Mhm.
And he just shakes his head. I'm not wasting for this. And he's just going to walk around the building and go and try and find the other people walking.
Yeah, you leave him in the dust at a casual pace. And you do see a throng of people walking, all in their pajamas, bare feet on the ground, in various array of pajamas. Walking down the street, across lawns, etc., all headed in the same direction. Elliot, Rossy, and Shane, what are you three doing?
Yeah, I'm with you, Jojo. Even in board games, I hate escort quests.
So I'm going to chase after them, stop for a second, turn back to Chaz, take the vest off, put the vest back on him, see if I can maneuver his arms through the sleeve holes here.
Yeah, he's
You
very
need this
much
more
like,
than I do.
it's like a sleeping toddler. The arms
yeah.
just sort of limply go and fall back to the side. So yeah, you can
Did we just
easily...
see Chaz fired.
You need this more than I do. And
Yeah, you easily redress Chaz. Elliot, what about you?
Elliot's going to go. I assume he rode there, and he's going to find his bike.
Mhm.
And if he had to guess, and with his knowledge of movie plots, where could he guess where they're heading?
Roll me comprehend. Oh, shit.
3 successes.
Yeah, bud, you sure can. You absolutely can guess where they're going. Let me give you an exact answer with 3 successes. Hot diggity damn.
They're going to Fish's house.
It's Fish's
They're
house, yeah.
going to Fish's house. The curse of Fish has been actualized. They are going to an apartment on the side of the.
well, I mean, in all fairness, her dad's usually a zombie anyway. So
That's true. That's true. They begin walking towards. You know what? Let me check G's very useful document. They begin walking towards a forest. Right. Your knowledge tells you they should be going towards the loop. Right. And that's what you kind of expected. Hopping on your bike. Maybe I can beat them there. I know how to get to the loop. They are loop adjacent, but the direction they're all walking does not seem to be directly to the loop. Rossy, you can roll me a comprehend as well, and Jojo.
Jojo, I
3
don't think would
successes.
try and figure it out. I think if he sees Elliot heading in a direction, Elliot's a smart kid. He's going to follow him.
Great. Yeah, Elliot, you can easily follow them. You just don't know where it is that they're going. You just do know that it's not the loop. Rossy, with also 3 successes, you get to the same conclusion. And you know exactly where they're going because you've been there before. If they continue in a straight line, which it seems as though they are continuing in a straight line, They seem to be walking towards that weird lake you found.
Oh no, Jojo!
Stop.
What did we do with the floaty disc ring?
You took it.
Mike, can I get in on this comprehend
Oh wait,
party?
we left it at the hideout, right? They're going towards that lake.
You can roll comprehend if you'd like.
What are they? Oh no! But we broke that thing.
You know that they are not going to the loop and that they are headed
Okay.
towards a forest. You don't know much more than that.
Okay.
You don't have a context for this lake.
Sure.
Do we really want to follow them into that freaking woods again? We got lost last time.
If you know where they're going, we should get there ahead of them and stop them going there.
Dude, if this is the whole town, then
They're going to end
Danny,
up in a
John, and
mirror
Fish could be
dimension.
going. So I'd rather get there before people I care
Yeah.
about end up in there.
I'm hearing that phrase way too often for my comfort.
Which phrase?
Like a couple of weeks ago, who was it? It was Danny and Newman and one of Danny's friends.
Fish?
There was a thing.
Fish?
Yes, that was her name. There was a thing at Danny's house with his parents who weren't his parents and some kind of weird camera thing that like melted in our hands. And there was a whole lot of talk about alternate dimensions. Hope that's helpful.
I mean, the weirdest thing is that you were allowed in Danny's house. You're not allowed to go there.
Elliot and Rossy, you would know. You would have tangential knowledge of a camera thing, whether it relates to exactly what Shane is talking about. But you had a run-in with the camera thing and strange realities.
Yeah, Danny doesn't like cameras. He tends to punch them.
Yeah, last time he punched it, didn't we turn it invisible?
Yeah. Not that
Jojo,
anyone
do you
can
want to
prove.
guide them to the lake? I can go to the hideout. I can grab the weird physics ring and we'll meet you at the lake.
He does finger guns and says, "See you there."
I
right.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, the physics ring unfolded on itself and then disappeared, and the four of you woke up in your beds.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a donut, and then it went bloop and disappeared into nothing. And you woke up in your beds.
Some of us
Bloody
woke up
hell!
in
Now I
beds. Fish
remember it
baby
disappeared. Freaking loop. Ugh.
All right, well, we know where they're going, so let's get there and make sure our friends don't end up in whatever weird
Yeah.
shit that is.
I have family
And your parents,
in
I mean,
town.
they might be there too. Let's go.
Cool. So I will take a move from all of you.
And move. Mike,
Yes.
so we would have had
Have a
stuff
grand
when we
total
went
of 0.
to the place.
I assume you all have your bicycles.
Yes, let's assume Jojo.
Or a skateboard for Jojo.
One success.
Great. One success for Shane, one success for not Rossy, one success for Elliot. Okay, cool. So everyone takes off. Rossy, you'll get there. You're just a little slower. So you have to
Rossy's
weave
got all his notebooks and stuff to think
Yeah,
about.
a tape
Okay.
recorder back there. So you begin to pedal off through and around this crowd. Have Rossy having figured out where the end goal is, specifically, and Jojo able to race there on his skateboard. You are all able to keep pace and follow Jojo towards this area of a nondescript patch of woods. Not adjacent to a park. It's just an area of undeveloped land where Jojo can kind of screech to a halt on his skateboard, kick that thing up and hold it. The rest of you can kind of drop your bikes as you head into this strange forest, or at least this regular forest that a bunch of somnambulant people are headed towards. You begin walking. Oh, go ahead.
Are there any people here yet? Or have we beaten the people here?
You have beaten the crowd of people
Okay.
based on
I'm
bicycles.
I'm going to lean over to Elliot and say, Aren't you going to compare this to something from a horror movie? That seems to be your thing.
Not just horror movies.
Oh, well, that's very comforting.
You begin to enter into this forest, and Jojo and Rossy. This is part 2 for you guys. Elliot and Shane, this is the first time you have seen this. The forest starts off like a regular coniferous forest, as you would expect to see around here. A lot of pines, a lot of spruces, that kind of like. And eventually the woods, the best way to set this is that scene in Snow White where she's running and running and running, and then all of the trees become gnarled and sort of grab at her. These trees go from regular trees to like the dead trees you see in swamps, and they're all kind of craggly and gnarled, and the bark is weird. And everything feels degrees colder as you walk into this forest. Rossy and Jojo have been here before. It has less of an effect on them seeing this strange situation as they beeline towards this lake that Rossy has referred to.
Last time we were, hey Jojo, correct me if I'm wrong, but last time we were here, didn't I set the thing on fire?
Yeah. And we got Fish to grab it. Put her on my shoulders and she grabbed the big
No,
ring.
we got the donut. Then I set the lake on fire with that blue fire.
You're more of a hooligan than me.
Don't lie to yourself.
The mob does a
tell my
lot
parents
of burning of things. It's an insurance thing.
You set the lake on fire? Where are we, Cleveland?
No, Detroit.
Even better.
Jojo's just confused as he looks at the pair of them.
I don't get these references. So the four of you make your way through the woods to the edge of where Rossy and Jojo believe there to be a lake. You get there, and Rossy and Jojo, there is a glade, like a clearing, in the middle of the forest of a random sort of shape where a lake could be, but there is in fact no lake here. And as you sort of look where this lake should be, where the donut should be, you begin to hear the snapping of twigs as seems as though people have entered the forest. What are the four of you doing?
Jojo is going to wait until he's going to stop at the edge of where the lake should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to wait for someone to sort of step up alongside him, and then he's going to push them a few steps ahead of him, just to see if they step into random water.
Okay. Elliot, Rossy, and Shane, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go towards the sound of the people to make sure that this is actually the direction that they're heading, because this is not a small forest.
That is true.
Elliot is stop short of Jojo because he has a feeling he knows what Jojo's about to do.
Elliot is absolutely
Been
the
around
person
Jojo
that
long enough.
steps up next to Jojo and gets pushed towards the lake.
Great.
The non-lake.
Perfect. So Jojo, you just sort of reach back and grab the nearest person and give them a tug towards the lake. And it isn't until you have put your arm in front of you that you see the back of Elliot's head as Elliot stumbles forward into this clearing. And you just see him kind of like wade forward, like off balance. But Elliot, you are on solid ground. Nothing has happened to you. And the people continue sort of marching towards.
He just looks around
I get
and goes,
that, like,
dude.
Like that moment is where Shane comes back into the clearing just in time to see Jojo throw Elliot. I can't leave you people alone for a moment. All right, they're still on the way.
See, I was just checking there wasn't a water, because last time I got my shoes ruined, and it really sucks when you got new shoes. And he
Last time
puts his
we
foot
had
up with
to
his
dive
shoes on.
under the water to return to this reality.
Oh yeah.
What?
Or we throw,
No...
I forget, who was it us throwing rocks at them or them throwing rocks at us?
Rossy, it was you and John throwing rocks at Jojo and Fish.
I don't throw things.
There's no lake here. There's never been a lake here.
As far as you know, that's accurate.
God, where's John when you need him?
Jojo looks at him and goes, "Have you ever lived in Glenbrook?
I've lived here my whole life.
And you haven't seen weird shit."
You are lucky.
Not nearly to the magnitude until this school year started. Maybe it's
When did you first interact with fish?
The first time I met Fish was the earlier session today, which was September
20th.
20th.
That was your mistake.
Yeah.
like 3
So
weeks
about
ago.
a month ago.
I mean, and that's the first time you had weird shit happen to you?
No. No, it is not.
Okay.
As you discuss what is and is not weird about Fish and the town of Glenbrook, the rest of the citizens begin to walk towards you. The first amount break the clearing. Well, the first group break the clearing, and they walk past you as if you weren't even there. And you see 5 of them walk towards what you can imagine to be the rough center of the lake, as it were. And they stand there sort of wobbling for a second, and then they fan out into a circle. And you see all of them sort of join hands, forming a small ring. And then the next group of people does the same, a sort of wobble, and then hands go out and they form a ring. And you can see this pattern begins to repeat as the citizens of Glenbrook are forming concentric circles in a lake that doesn't exist.
Mike,
Is there anyone in these sleepwalkers that we recognize?
Yeah, you recognize John, Danny's parents, Fish, Jojo. You recognize Fish's dad. You recognize Skylar and her family. You recognize your parents, Elliot, your sister, your parents, your uncle, teachers, friends.
Jojo is specifically trying to find, in all of that, he was looking for Danny, John, and Fish. And as soon as he saw any of them enter the clearing, he would run up, drag them back to the group, and try and hold them away from the forming of circles.
Okay. Yeah, the first one you see is, we'll say it's Fish. You grab, because I think at this point in time, Fish is still fucking off on her own. So you grab Fish and drag her back. And she's not like, it's not like an aggressive resistance. It's like moving a sleeping person, right? So you just sort of drag her back, and there's that like slight like lilting forward motion. You really just like put a hand on her and she'll stop. She is unable to move forward.
He pushes her so she's standing behind a tree, so she walks into a tree.
Great.
And he's going to keep doing that until he gets all 3 of them.
Great. Yeah, you find Fish, you find Danny, you find John. You can also find Blake.
Oh, Blake. Blake.
I'll grab Blake.
Sure. You begin to
Blake.
grab all these people and put them behind trees. Yes, Shane.
Do I see Lisa?
Is she ambulatory?
She is in a coma.
No. Yeah, she is not walkable. So no. And I also imagine she would be like strapped to machines.
Zombies have their own agenda. So.
That's true. No, you do not see your sister. She is still where she should be.
Excellent.
Elliot, you see your family, sister, uncle, mother, father, etc. All walking in this direction. You can grab them and do the same thing as Jojo did and kind of put them behind trees if you so choose.
Yeah.
Elliot's going to turn to them all and say, dudes, we need to say the incantation backwards to stop the spell.
I don't think this is a spell. This is Loop. The Loop did shit here before.
But
He looks to Rossy.
back at the Bolarama, we recited a spell or made a pact or something. Rossy said it was to do with warlocks. I don't know.
I said I wish
say
it
it backwards. If we say it backwards, maybe it stops the spell. We don't know what happens when the whole town gets here.
Do we have to be in the middle of the circle? And he looks at the forming rings.
Is there enough room for us all in the middle, Mike?
It'd be tight. There's 5 people that are like like hands across America, right? They're not like arms straight out. They're like arms down to the side. So
Yeah.
5 people have formed a ring. So the 4 of you can get in there. You'd just be a little close together.
I mean, we had to kind of stand in the circle up in the attic. I guess we should do it again.
Rossy's over the corner making a sketch of what he thinks is happening in his notepad. He's trying to sketch out like the formation.
Wait, when you say like in the attic, so we're going to be in the same positions? So I got to go stand in the middle because that's where the light was. And then Shane's got to stand on one side and Rossy on another side and then you on the other side?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Make sure they don't end up in the ring. of
Sounds
weirdos.
crazy enough to work.
And then
Well, I don't-
Jojo is going to go and try and crowd surf to the middle.
Okay. They're just arms together. So there's a good like 3 feet between people. So you can just duck under their arms or under their legs, depending on how they're standing. So it's fairly easy to, and like, even if you like take their hands apart and walk through them, they just rejoin hands. It's not a very difficult challenge to pass through here. So you make your way to the center, Jojo. Elliot, Rossy, and Shane, where are you going?
Rossy has made a sketch and he's now like, all right, if this is equal to that, you need to stand here, you need to stand there, and I have to stand over here.
Yeah. Elliot will
I'm
just
taking
go to
directions
wherever
as
he's
well.
told.
Okay. So Rossy, you direct everyone to their respective places based on the telemetry of the attic. And what do you say once you are all in place?
Because Jojo went last, he shouts, "Dreaming between space, the am I."
I'm glad I'm not the only one who figured that was how we had to do it.
Oh no! That's so good. That's so good. Oh god damn it! That's so fucking good. Okay, so Jojo says that. Elliot, what do you say? Fuck. Ah.
Ground beneath dark. Am I?
Close.
Nope.
Ground the beneath dark the I'm.
Rossy, toss him the script.
Yeah, right.
He's
Yeah,
all
we'll
the
say
way over there.
I
everyone.
said that.
Everyone has a script, more or less. So yeah. Shane, what is yours?
Lies, she, and scream the before sound the MI.
And Rossy.
Dark the in, Nasher the am I.
Great. Oh Christ, that was so fucking funny. That was so funny, Chris. Oh, that fucking got me. Yeah, you all recite this. Fucking Christ. That one threw me for a loop. You all recite
It is Tales
this.
from the loop.
Oh god, that was so good. You all recite this, and you see the swaying people stop swaying, and they all fall down. They all fall backwards. Not like a hard. It's sort of a weird slow descent. They fall, hands still holding each other, so now like a little bit stretched out more. They all fall in these same concentric circles. And you guys kind of stand there and watch this happen for like 30, 45 seconds. And then everyone sort of lets go of the hands and stands up and just starts to turn and walk back towards the town.
Now, what Mike's not telling us is that if we had recited it forwards, they would have fallen forwards instead of backwards.
It's true. It's true. Would have been a much messier scene. They all begin to walk backwards, and everyone who rolled like stupid amount of successes on comprehend, it appears as though they're walking like towards their respective areas. Like you see branches forming towards separate areas of town. They're not all walking to one location.
So I go and find my mom.
Yep.
And are her eyes open?
Nope. Everyone still looks exactly the same as when they walked here, but they are seeming to be walking home.
Okay, I'm gonna check and make sure are her eyes still rolled up in her sockets.
They are, but slightly lower than what you remember Chaz being.
Okay.
Mike,
Do I see
can
her
I?
boyfriend?
What? Shane?
You remember what I asked you about her boyfriend?
Yes. You don't see him.
Okay.
Elliot, you had a question.
I was going to say, can I see if anyone's conspicuous in their absence?
Ooh, no. Roll me. I have to remember now. Roll me comprehend. Yeah.
One success.
The man from the video is not here.
He'll just race over to Jojo and say, the guy with the cane wasn't here.
The bail?
If that's his name.
That guy.
Jojo peers up as well and looks around. I'm guessing he doesn't see his parents, Mike.
You don't see your parents. It's the weirdest thing.
My parents aren't here either. Maybe they hadn't arrived yet before we stopped it.
How far away do you live?
I mean, they're out there at home. It's night. They're probably working. So they'll be in the
So-
loop. Like, how long does it
so-
take to get out the loop?
We're next to the loop, dude.
But
True.
they were. You
Maybe
said
the
they
lifts
work
didn't work.
nights.
Yeah, work nights.
Are there any
So
other
they
loop
work-
employees of Mike?
Yep.
And Elliot will just point to one that they made it.
Maybe they don't work very hard.
But
Maybe it's only
Wait,
affecting
wait,
those
wait.
who are actually asleep.
Asleep. That's what I was getting at. Yes.
So that guy was sleeping at his desk. See, people with desk jobs, they just sleep.
So the people that you pointed out that were from the loop, are they the overnight shift or are they the day shift?
I mean,
Or do
Don't
we,
work
don't
at
we
the
know?
loop.
You don't know. You don't have a
Fair.
roster of employees.
That's fair.
However,
Rossy
Shane,
looked
you
at
did hear
hold on.
you did hear Jojo mention the name LaBelle, Shane, just so you know.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rossy.
When Rossy, when they point out a person that works for the loop, Rossy walks over to them. Are they like dressed in like pajamas and stuff?
They are.
So this is just a normal guy who works at a loop. Only if he had an ID card to filch off him.
It would be nice.
Wait.
Rossi says
What were
that
you saying
low to
about-
himself, so no one else hears him, unless they like try to listen.
So I go up to Jojo and I kind of say, in a hush voice to him, what were you saying about someone with a cane?
Mr. LaBelle. He's kind of like the bane of our existence. At least mine. And Fish's and Danny's and Rossi's and Elliot's. And
First time
Right.
I ran
Fuck
into him, we
me.
got stuck in a time loop.
this time I ran into him and got put nearly in jail.
Well, then
I mean,
it seems
that's,
I'm in
that's
this.
a day ending in Y for you, isn't it?
Pretty much. No, but I
seems
mean, we
I'm
were
in this for the long haul then.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
Is he like your uncle?
He just started dating my mom.
What?
It's my mom's new boyfriend.
That's not good. But I mean, that
I just
helps
thought he
because
was
you
an
can help
asshole.
us keep tabs on him.
Well, at least
Yeah.
he's rich.
Yeah,
Did
there's
he
a
keep-
problem with that.
What's the problem?
He's paying my sister's hospital bills.
With gold coins.
No, with loop funds.
I'm pretty sure the gold coins are made in the loop. They're like loop bucks or something.
If he's paying with the loop funds, that's just U.S. government funding.
Apparently he's some bigwig there.
Yeah, he's creepy and he keeps screwing up shit in the town. And every time we
Well, feel honored,
Yeah.
Shane. Your sister's medical bills are being paid by the American taxpayer.
Yeah, the question is why.
because he's a weirdo. So, if he's not here,
Either he's awake, or he orchestrated, or he's immune to this stuff.
Jojo walks off a bit. He goes back to the center where we were, Mike, where he stood and quoted his bit about space and dreaming. Is there anything there on the floor?
No, there's nothing there.
Dreaming, but
Does the
space.
floor look like it's disturbed in any way? It's just normal.
No, I mean, it's not grass. It's like dirt grass. I don't know how to describe that. It's not like a carpet of grass, like a lawn. It's more like if you were in a forest and you uprooted a bunch of trees, like that kind of like dirt and grass mixed, not like a glade, like a bunch of grass. This looks like a barren area.
Okay, so it's like scrub.
Topsoil, yeah. Topsoil and scrub. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't look like it's been disturbed or anything's been buried there.
Nope, other than the footprints from people walking around, no.
Jojo walks back to them after having kicked around in the dirt. He's like, whenever he's involved, and he points to Shane, your stepdad, there's normally a weird coin. Like, there's this weird gold coins. We need to take you to the hideout. We got some there, and we can show you them.
Do you want to continue this conversation there? I don't like standing in the woods.
Have I seen any of these gold coins before, Mike?
No.
Okay.
Wait, should we try to find those cameras that were pointing towards see if there's any around here?
I don't think there are any cameras around here.
Is he talking about movie cameras again?
Don't we have the destroyed camera at the hideout as well? We could show them if it's there.
No, we
didn't steal one from we didn't steal one from the house.
No, we woke up, dude, and the whole.
Well, I know
house
when
was
it
gone.
got
There
destroyed, that one wasn't there, but I thought Danny took one.
He punched one, but when we woke up, it was gone.
Elliot also watched.
I need to reread my own notes.
Elliot watched our lives when we burned his house down.
Yeah.
So
okay,
potentially
stop.
He had
say
cameras.
that again, but slowly.
Elliot watched our entire 6 months.
Not their entire life, not the boring stuff. Not the boring stuff.
So
just the stuff when they do weird shit.
Yeah,
Rossy's just gonna head back out of the woods. He's like, I want to continue the conversation somewhere else.
Yeah, but there might be cameras here because if Elliot was watching our lives, then maybe LaBelle had cameras everywhere. So there might be video cameras in the trees. But Elliot saw them when we burnt down his house.
Are you gonna sit there and climb every single tree around here? And he gets more distant and distant.
No, but Elliot might know how to find cameras.
When it was pointed at the hideout, it was on a tripod. If we walk around the circumference where the creepiness starts, maybe we'll find them.
But I mean, we would have seen them on their tripods if they were filming us, like when we went to the carnival and stuff. But we didn't. So maybe they're hiding in the trees.
Come on, describe this camera to me.
It had a big lens and I think a smaller lens, and then a series of lights that went on sequentially.
I didn't see
That's
that.
a vague enough description, Shane, for it to fit
right
most anything, but it also fits your thing.
Take me to see this camera, and we need to find John.
The British guy?
Yes.
British John. He's over there. And he points to John walking off into the woods.
Not helpful right now.
No.
We don't have one of these cameras.
One of those cameras.
That's what I was saying. If we look around here, we might find it.
I will happily look around. Do I see anything that looks like the camera that I saw?
Elliot, Rossy is going to take a quick look around. Can I roll investigate?
You cannot. Four of you take a lap around the clearing. There are no cameras to be seen. And as you come to this realization that there are no cameras, but it may be well served to show Shane the hideout. This conversation continues as you guys wander off into the woods towards the mill houses, or towards the mill building, where a secret hideout of clandestine teens it waits for Shane's wonderment. However, the camera lingers here in the clearing, and after a few minutes pass, your voices fade into the distance. A stick cracks in the woods, and a cane steps forward, followed by a foot, another foot, cane, step, cane, step. As a suited man that we have come to know as Mr. LaBelle wanders out into the clearing, walks over to where Jojo was at the center, looks at the ground, sort of kicks it with his foot, brushes some things aside with his cane, and we hear another stick crack, as a woman walks out from the opposite side of the clearing here. A woman we have not seen here in the Glenbrook Chronicles, but a woman we have seen in Glenbrook Unhallowed. Woman named Dennis Kea. She walks across the field, looks to Mr. LaBelle, looks down at what he's looking at. He turns to her and says, "It is, in fact, happening again. Have you contacted New Arkham?" She looks back to him and says, I have, and the family was moved, and they're back now. But they're aware. Kids are aware. Growing number of them. He says, "Yeah, no, I know. I've been tracking as many of them as I can. Let's hope it's not like last time." And he reaches into his waistcoat and pulls out a coin and hands it to her. And that is where we end this episode of Glenbrook Chronicles.
Nice.
Lock in. Yeah. So that was that episode. That was some tie-ins, some little bows on some things. Every character has met every character so far, I believe, in some capacity. Everyone is aware of the hideout, and LaBelle is aware of everything. Bum bum bum.
And he's not a bad guy.
Well, that's not to be seen yet. I won't confirm or deny his goodness or badness. However, that is where we are. Both the appearance of LaBelle and the appearance of Dennis Kea were corruption bars, so thank you for doing that to yourselves, for developing this plot further in your madness. Let's go around, do our introduction so we can get the hell out of here and do our after show and talk about all the craziness of this show. I will say, because I put it out in the last Patreon after show, and I'm going to put it out here publicly for everybody, I would love to see somebody do a full watch through of Glenbrook Chronicles, is what I said before, but in timeline order, in chronological order, and let me know what you think is happening here, what the story situation is going here. Yeah, that's my quest for anyone out there willing to take that. 10 episodes, about 3 hours apiece. So it's only 30 hours. You'll be fine. It's 20 to 30 hours. So yeah, let's go around, do our introductions, so we can start this after show, which you guys can get over on our Patreon at the $5 tier. If you're not there, that is the best way to support us at this channel. And while you're down there, click on that Patreon link, join us over in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. But for now, we will start with our newest guest again. Trevor, who are you, where can we find you, and what are you up to?
Hello, I am Trevor, aka the Vitruvian Meeple. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Board Game Geek, and you can obviously find me on Mike's Discord. I talk about all sorts of geeky, gamey stuff, sci-fi stuff, and, day in the life of being a dad.
Hell yeah.
This was once again awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. We'll go to Matt. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I'm Matt or D, and you can find me on Mike's Discord here in the Patreon watch list in the Patreon campaign. Don't try searching for me on social media; you won't find anything.
Yeah. Norm, not last but least. You're just one more. Sorry, Chris. Norm, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Normal Snow. You can generally find me in the Patreon games and on the Discord.
And now, last but not least, Chris, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Chris, aka Necro, and I am dreaming between the space, but only in the Discord and in the Patreon shows. Nowhere else. As per DE, I don't do social media.
Perfect. We're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for being here. That's it from all of us. We're going to go do this after show, get it later this week over on our Patreons. From all of us to you guys, bye.